Sometimes it is a combination of factors that leads to disaster, circumstances that no train engineer can control, events that no passenger can ever imagine. In the fall of 1992, 3 childhood friends in Southern California decided to take the trip of a lifetime.
We started planning our trip about 6 months prior to us leaving in end of September, and we had heard about this great package deal that Amtrak had offered.
So what we decided on was picking New Orleans, then going to Orlando, Florida, Epcot Center, going to Washington, D.C., and then come straight across the states back to California.
The friends left Los Angeles on Amtrak's Sunset Limited for a 2-week trip to Miami. A week into the trip, they were speeding through the swampy bayous of Alabama.
I kept commenting to Angie and to the girls, it was already late at night, that look at on both sides. There's the bayou, there's water on the one side, there's water on the other side, and we're going over the bridge. It's so shiny, it's really nice, it's really beautiful.
The passengers on the Amtrak Sunset Limited, all 220 people, were in the dark about the danger on the rails ahead. As the Sunset Limited crossed an 80-year-old bridge just outside of Mobile, Alabama, the passengers heard a crashing sound.
I knew we had wrecked only because, the whole train was just going crazy.
All I felt was the train rocking and rolling, and then it came to a sudden screech. I saw a car in front of us on fire. I saw fire through the doors, and then it disappeared.
In an instant, a peaceful train ride across country was transformed into a fiery nightmare. 3 of the cars hurtled off the bridge, down into the alligator and snake-infested waters. One of the locomotives blew up, and a large fireball began to engulf the train. The conductor called 911.
Yes, listen, this is Amtrak train supervisor. We're on the Mobile River. The bridge is going up. We got cars burning, people in the river. Can't swim. We need help. Any kind of help you can get down here.
Stay on the line with me, sir.
Yes.
Okay, you with the Amtrak train?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the supervisor on board. We're on the Mobile River. We got cars burning. They're over the bridges. There's people in the water. We're trying to help them, but we need all kind of help. Yes, ma'am. We need help.
The cars are exploding at that time, and there's cars that are just laying on their side, and you see the fire coming out of the windows. You hear people screaming, and you saw people in the water. People were jumping in the water trying to save the people that were in there.
And at that time, a lot of people panicked, of course. The people that were in back of us, in front of us, we did not know what way to go. We did not know where we were at. Some people literally ran into the front. The things opened. People actually fell into the water.
By daybreak, hundreds of rescuers had pitched in to work on the worst train crash in Amtrak's history. Seasoned investigators, people who have seen countless wrecks, were shaken by the scenes in the bayou.
And when we saw it, we just couldn't believe it. Cars submerged, cars in the water, bodies being collected on a barge. Never seen anything like it. It's just unbelievable.
"47 people died in the disaster, and at least 100 more suffered serious injuries. It took months to determine the cause of the accident. An investigation revealed that a tugboat pushing a barge had run into the bridge moments before the Sunset Limited crossed the tracks. Because of the dense fog, the tugboat captain had no idea that he had hit the bridge. Computer animation reveals the sequence of events. The force of the impact displaced the rails. Moments later, the Sunset Limited struck the misaligned rails and launched into the air, plunging into the murky waters of the bayou. The train was moving at over 80 miles an hour. There was nothing the engineer could do. The locomotive hit the end of the girder, launched into the air, and drove itself 50 feet into the mud on the far side of the bayou. As a result of the accident, the NTSB made several safety recommendations to ensure that such a tragedy does not occur again.
This bridge was within half a mile of a major waterway. It had no lights on it. There was no protection in the channel to prevent tows from coming up in that direction. Some of the recommendations that we made asked the Coast Guard to take a look at these waterways and take a look at the bridges and try to make a determination of what the level of risk is to these bridges. Once you know the risk, then you can decide which need protection from errant barges and other things. I think this, like almost all the accidents that we investigate, was preventable. And if through regulations we can get a higher level of safety, then I think that's what we need to do. I think that everybody can do a better job in that area.